In a recent video, I stated if I could only have one lens, it would be the 24 to 70 2.8 Z mount lens. And I'll put a link in the description below to that video. So I decided to take a walk in Merchantville, New Jersey with just that lens on my Z8. And also I decided to shoot in the square image area in black and white using the monochrome picture control. The very first camera I ever owned when I was around 12 years old was a Sears Easy Load 126 camera. It took 126 cartridge film, and that produced square images approximately 1 inch by 1 inch. I then upgraded to a Kodak Instamatic 124, pictured here. That's not my original camera. I wish I still had it. Again, making square images. It took a flash cube on top, and I really liked the square, right? That's what I was originally started using. I then, in the early 70s, was shooting 35 millimeter, but I went to a Yashica Mat 124G, which produced a 2 1/4 square negative on 120 film, and then went to the Mamiya C330, which had interchangeable lenses. Again, also a camera that took 120 film. And then finally, the Hasselblad 500 CM, which I shot many weddings and portraits and did a lot of work with the Hasselblad. And I really loved the square format. Again, although I was still shooting with my Nikons 35 millimeter slides and so forth. But I really like the square format. Now, these are a few images from a video I did last year, and I will put a link to that video on shooting square with a digital camera. So I decided, like I said, to go to Merchantville and just shoot some pictures. There's some interesting houses there. And I figured, well, I said that was the lens I would keep, the 24 to 70. So I went out and shot black and white in Merchantville. Now, this building I thought was interesting, but I wasn't too happy. This was the first shot. I couldn't get the whole building in. I couldn't get far enough away to get the whole building in. And this is a case probably where a 35 millimeter camera where I could shoot vertical may have been better. But I did like this image the best of the three that I shot. And I think this one works. Showing more of the foreground, more of the street. And I just have a thing for square images. I always liked them. And I always liked black and white. I would shoot, in fact, the first roll of film I ever developed back in 1970 was a roll of Verichrome pan 126. And the day after Easter in 1970, I bought a kit for $12 to process film, and it came with a little contact printer. And I was making contact prints from those 126 negatives. And those prints were a little less than 1 inch square, but that was great to me. Now, one of the many things that I love about mirrorless cameras is when you are in a black and white mode, in a monochrome mode, you actually can see in black and white through the viewfinder. Of course, that was something you can never do with an optical viewfinder. So I really like that. Now, Merchantville has some historic homes, some very interesting homes, and I love to photograph architecture among a lot of other things. And I feel like in many cases, these homes really lend themselves to the square format. Now, this I thought was a very interesting building. I don't know how old it is, but it was unusual. It was kind of unique. And so I shot a variety of images of this building. And all these images were not cropped after the fact. I did not crop. I brought them. They were JPEGs. I shot both RAW and JPEG, but I used the JPEGs for this video. And here I step back a little bit to get the entire house in. and I did nothing as far as darkening the sky. Now, there is the ability within the monochrome picture control, as is the case with all the picture controls on the Nikon, to make adjustments to them. And one of the adjustments you can do is to, it actually simulates the look of color filters. And we'll see a picture later on, either a color filter that you would use in black and white to, let's say, to darken the sky, such as a red filter or a yellow filter. And I will show an example of that using the red filter a little later. But I was just walking around shooting, and that's something I love to do. It was a sunny day, so we got some shadows. And sometimes if I'm shooting people, I prefer to shoot on a cloudy day. On a sunny day, I like to shoot buildings for the most part, depending on where the sun, obviously, where the light is coming from. So I think it just makes the pictures more interesting. The shadows of this tree on the front of the home, and the wind just blew at the right time to lift that flag a little on the right there. You saw, so it's very relaxing for me just to go around taking pictures. Some people say they want to take a walk. They just want to clear their mind. They go out and they take a walk. And I agree, it's a great thing to do. For me, I like to do that. I like to go out and take a walk, but I like to take my camera with me. And if you are having some difficulties in life, whatever the case may be, you're out there walking with the camera, you really can't think of anything else. At least I can't. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for images. And I'm not looking to win any prizes with these pictures. I'm shooting them mostly for myself, and just having a good time. And when I was processing my own film, and I still do occasionally, there is always that excitement when you open up the tank and you hang that film up to dry, and you're looking at the images, and there's a lot of excitement there. And although now with digital, you can see your results right away on the back of the LCD or through the viewfinder as well with a mirrorless camera, uh, there's still that excitement of getting home and getting them into the computer and looking at them in a larger size and seeing how you did. So that's something I don't think has ever gone away, or will ever go away. For me, is that excitement of seeing the images, seeing how you did, seeing if, did you screw it up? Did could I have done this better? And I'm very critical of my own work. I'm always looking at the images and saying, well, maybe I should have did this, or maybe I should have did that. And I've been doing this a long time. As I said, I've been processing my own film since 1970. So that's over 50 years. And you still learn. And one of the things with the square format, like I said, I shot it early on, quite a bit, well into the 80s, using the Hasselblad. But since that time, mostly been shooting 35 millimeter or digital. So it was nice to get back to the square format. And like I said, I did do a video last year on it, but I don't do it that often. And I think I'm going to do it more. And it just gives you something else. It's kind of, I mentioned recently, getting a new lens sometimes will spark some creativity, a lens that gives it a different look. And I think it's the same thing shooting square, shooting black and white. I've been shooting mostly color for the last 20 years, I would say, occasionally black and white, and it's really nice to get back to black and white. Now, here is the First Presbyterian Church in Merchantville, and I thought that sky could use some darkening. If I were shooting black and white film, I would have put a red filter on. And I then realized that I can do that with the monochrome picture control. So I dialed it in, and this is the resulting image. And the sky's a little darker. I don't think it had the same effect that a red filter would have. shooting black and white film. So I guess I have to just play around with it a little more, try it in some different conditions. So that's just about it for this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about shooting square in black and white, or just shooting black and white on digital. I think the mirrorless camera is so versatile, and just this is just one more thing that adds to its versatility. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I publish a new video every Monday morning and Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So leave a comment in the comments below about your experience shooting square or shooting black and white, and I try to respond to all questions and all comments. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.